It's Tuesday, May 16th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show in store for you today. Up first, we're going to chat with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Then we'll talk with Golf Services Director Bruce McIntyre. He's going to tell us about some really great improvements at the old Barnstable Fairgrounds golf course. And finally, we'll chat with DPW Director Dan Santos. All of that on this episode of Barnstable Today. But first, let's go ahead and get a look at today's top headlines. There is a cheap and easy way to travel from Boston to Cape Cod. The Cape Flyer is offering $15 round-trip super summer saving fares all season for round-trip and same-day travel on Sundays. You can get that special rate from Memorial Day to Labor Day by purchasing tickets at the MBTA commuter rail ticket office at South Station and on the M-Ticket app. Special ticket prices are not available for purchase on board. The Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce is hosting a seminar on wage and hour immigration compliance for the hospitality industry. The seminar will focus on how to comply with federal and state laws and how to avoid costly mistakes. The Wage and Hour Seminar will be held Tuesday, May 23rd at the Cape Cod Community College. Seating is limited. Call the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce to register. Well, if you're in the market for a small boat, you may be able to find a bargain during an upcoming auction. The Barnstable Harbor Master Division is hosting a sealed bid auction of surplus and abandoned vessels. The auction will take place at the Marine and Environmental Affairs Office on Finney's Lane, Saturday, May 20th. There is additional parking in the vacant lot across the street. The payment shall be made by check or cash payable to the town of Barnstable. To see a full list of vessels included in the auction, that can be found on the town's website. The Barnstable Senior Center is reaching out to older adults who are looking for work with a new group. The 50-plus Job Seekers group provides a great coaching networking program that helps job seekers identify issues that could be getting in the way of reaching those job searching goals. The group meets the first and third Thursday of each month at the Barnstable Senior Center from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That program is funded by the Massachusetts Council on Aging. Up next, we'll chat with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Joining me now live on the phone, Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Chief, a very exciting and meaningful event over the weekend for the police department. An officer who has deserved recognition for some time is finally getting that recognition.
He is. Patrolman Edward Landers. Eddie, I knew Edward Landers. I'm one of the last couple of officers that still work here that actually worked with Eddie. He died in a line of duty October 17th, 1984. And ever since then, the department has been trying to jump over many, many hurdles to get his name added to the National Law Enforcement Memorial in Washington, D.C., and that finally occurred this past Saturday the 13th. We sent a team of officers down there led by Lieutenant Cabral, and he spearheaded this last movement to get Eddie's name put on the memorial. As everybody knows in town of Barnstable, we have one other officer on the memorial, Michael K. Alliston, who died in March of 1983 while in pursuit of a fleeing motorcycle. He got into a crash with his cruiser at the intersection of Route 28 and West Barnstable Road, and his name was put on the shrine a number of years ago. With Eddie, it was a little bit different. He died October 7th, 1984, while attempting to make an arrest over Route 6A in Barnstable. The individual was wanted for violation of a restraining order. Eddie went over there in his calm demeanor to try to talk the individual into just coming with him peacefully. They got into a little bit of a confrontation. Officer Landers was able to get one handcuff on him, and during the struggle, Officer Landers suffered a massive heart attack. Other individuals at the house, they called 911, they called the police, they called the rescue. We responded. When we got there, the individual who Eddie was trying to arrest was actually doing CPR on him, was trying to revive him. He was eventually transported to Cape Cod Hospital, where he was pronounced dead, and he died of cardiac arrest, a massive heart attack. He passed away. And over the years, we tried to get his name memorialized because, in our opinion, his heart attack was brought on by the confrontation. The rules lightened up and they changed over the years, and this past Saturday his name was finally put on the wall and memorialized with over 20,000 other police officers who have died in the line of duty. So Barnstable PD now has two names on that memorial, and hopefully we will get to have no other names put on that memorial.
I'm sure that must have meant a lot to his family as well. Were any family members able to attend the ceremony?
Eddie Landers Jr. was there with his wife, and I believe his mother came up from Florida. They also were down there, and they met with we sent 8 officers down there. They all met up together. We have several photographs taken. They sent them back to us. The officers are returning today from Washington, D.C. They were down there. And, of course, this is a whole week-long celebration down there in Washington, D.C. So it's a great event for the PD, and we're finally glad that Eddie Landers' name is there, and the family and Eddie is getting the recognition that he certainly deserves, even though it took over 33 years.
Yeah, such an important thing to make sure we honor those who have given their lives in service. Why was it so difficult? I mean, was it just that they were sort of arguing that, oh, well, it was a heart attack, so you can't specifically say?
Exactly. The cause of death, and again, it's just my speculation. The cause of death was a massive heart attack. And the question is, was it caused by the confrontation, by the physical confrontation? Because the individual that Eddie was trying to put into custody, he was never charged with anything. And actually, we get down there, he was the one doing the CPR. He was doing mouth-to-mouth. He was doing everything he possibly could to bring Eddie back. I mean, he certainly had no intentions or by any means in trying to hurt Officer Landers. So that was the conversation. The rules lightened up a little bit over the years, and then over the last 2.5 years, we set the application down. We had multiple conversations with the individuals down there, and they finally agreed that it was a line of death injury, and his name was eventually added. So it worked out well.
So glad that could happen for your department as well as for his family. What a wonderful event celebrating his life. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're very, very welcome.
And
Thank you.
We appreciate you chatting with us today and look forward to chatting with you again next week. Thanks, Chief.
Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Our guest today, Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Now we're going to check in with Director of Golf Services, Bruce McIntyre. So Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait to learn what's happening at both of the town's golf courses. This is when you start picking up speed, I think.
Absolutely.
It's been nice weather. Have people gone out and started golfing?
If the weather's halfway decent, they never stop golfing.
Really?
In those few nice patches of weather we had over the winter, golf courses were extremely busy. Generally speaking, around the first weekend in April, which is when the Masters tournament is played and everybody watches it, and that's kind of like the spark that ignites everybody back into the golf bug. We had a phenomenal April at the 2 golf courses this year, and right now it's weather pending. We've had a ton of rain lately. If the weather's good, the courses are packed. If not, well, we can't control the weather.
Yeah, and isn't that true? You really cannot control the weather.
No doubt.
You have a lot going on, some different changes.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about Old Barnstable Fairgrounds first. This is really great because you're celebrating the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, we are. Old Barnstable Fairgrounds Golf Course opened April 1st of 1992, and 25 years later, here we are. And they say time flies when you're having fun, but the town of Barnstable's been in the golf business now for 25 years. At the same time, it's kind of works well with the fact that we're doing a lot of capital improvements at the clubhouse at Old Barnstable as well as Hyannis. And after 25 years, facilities need some upgrades, and they need to be taken care of. So this is the end of the second year of clubhouse improvements, phase 2. So hopefully we'll continue on with that each year. As an enterprise fund, though, we can only do what we can afford to do and stay within our means. But 25 years seems like a long time. It seems like just a few seconds for me. Several of us have been around pretty much from the very beginning.
Yeah,
Yep.
time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Yep.
You know, there is a new restaurant at Old Barnstable Fairgrounds Golf
correct.
Course.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Tavern on the Green, as it's called now, had a soft opening beginning of April. As of the end of April now, they're got their liquor license, which was the only outstanding thing, fully operational. Right now, daily breakfast and lunch. They're going to be doing some themed dinners and some special sunset activities. If you're not familiar with the deck overlooking Old Barnstable Fairgrounds in the airport across the street, and it's a great spot to catch sunsets, so they'll capture that opportunity. The principals at Tavern on the Green are local guys that have a lot of restaurant background. So far, so good. The food quality's been excellent, and you know, they're just getting going, and I hope people will take the time to go over there and check it out. They've got a lot of new and interesting things.
Well, you've convinced me. The sunsets sound great.
It's a great spot.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenges, because I know when you say Old Barnstable Fairgrounds is about 25 years old, how old is the Hyannis Golf Course?
Hyannis Golf Course is 42, 43 years old. There's different times in which they said it opened, but we're using 1975 as an opening date. You know, we just briefly mentioned after 25 years, Old Barnstable has needs. Well, one can imagine after going on 45 years, Hyannis has a lot of needs too. That is the biggest challenge facing the golf division right now, is an older property, failing infrastructure, an irrigation system that is really well beyond its useful life, and how we go forward in handling a restoration of Hyannis Golf Course will be hugely beneficial and important to the long-term success and growth of the golf division. Now, that being said, you know, we have put forward a restoration program. It's approximately $4 million. A couple of years ago, we hired a golf architecture firm. Richard Mandel from North Carolina came up and did a master plan study on how to renovate Hyannis Golf Course. Very good report, lots of options. And last year we were asked by the town manager to solicit and get a market analysis with return on investment potential. And the National Golf Foundation did that for us last year. That was a very good report. They did an operational review of Barnstable Golf as well. It was positive to the fact that if we can restore Hyannis and modernize it and upgrade it after all these years, that there will be a bigger draw and we can grow the business. We just have to figure out how to afford it.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it is an enterprise fund, so you can only really spend what you can bring in. So that is the challenge. So you'll be working to try and secure some funding for that, and hopefully move forward with that project.
It's ongoing. You know, we've had discussions with CPC and Lindsay Council. Mark Milne has been involved with myself and Lynn Poyant and Lindsay talking, as well as trying to explore other options. How much can the enterprise take on an existing debt? We're still paying the debt on the original appropriation loan for Hyannis Golf Course, as well as one can imagine the capital improvements at the golf course, at both clubhouses, equipment, et cetera, et cetera. We're responsible for all of that. So you know, how much can we take on? How much new business can we bring in? And can we cover that? You know, that's the big question right now. The golf division is very confident that can happen, but the funding aspect of it still a work in progress.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today,
No
filling
problem.
us in on everything that's happening at the golf course. But before I let you go, real quick, if someone's watching and saying, I want to get out and play golf, how can they find out more information about rates and maybe season passes?
Well, a number of different ways. Number one, www.barnstablegolf.com. The website is easy to use. It has all the information. You can call either Pro Shop, Old Barnstable Fairgrounds is 508-420-1141. And at Hyannis Golf Course, 508-362-2606. Either Pro Shop can furnish you with the information, or simply stop by. There's excuse me, paperwork and brochures, etc., available.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for dropping by. We really appreciate it, and look forward to chatting with you again in the near future. Maybe we'll meet you at the golf course next time.
Maybe so. Thank you.
Our guest this morning is Bruce McIntyre. He's the Director of Golf Operations for the town of Barnstable. Now we're going to head over to the Marston's Mills Public Library. During our chat, we're going to learn with the library director, Stacy Heavener. We're going to learn all about some great activities at the Marston's Mills Library. So Stacy, thank you so much for joining me today. Love being here at the Marston's Mills Library. You guys have so much going on. I just got a sneak peek at your website. You've been redoing the website. Wow, does that look amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about it. I think it's unique and it's beautiful. And we actually are working with Jenny Wiley, who's the former director of Cotuit Libraries, who's now a consultant, and I think she's done an absolutely beautiful job.
Wonderful, very exciting. Like you said, it's so different. It is not your typical website. It does not follow a template, and boy, does it make you just want to jump inside a book.
It does.
I love it. I love it.
Great.
And you know, that'll be a great resource for residents. What all information will they be able to find on the website?
Well, on the website we will have all of, you can of course order through CLAMS. That's first and foremost on there. It will tell you about all of our programs. For a small library, we are extraordinarily busy. We have different programs constantly between yoga and book groups and special programs. We have Girl Scouts here every week. We're very busy, so all of that will be on the website. It will have, we have lynda.com, which is an online tutorial site. We have links to free university classes everywhere. It's loaded. It's absolutely loaded with resources for people.
Wonderful. And it's going to be so easy to navigate too.
Absolutely.
Everything was laid out so beautifully. So congratulations on the new website.
Thank
Very
you.
excited to see that. You know, want to talk to you too about this event. I'm holding a flyer. Very excited about this event.
It's going to be fun.
Books and Booze Library Cruise. This is a Highline Harbor Cruise. How fun is this? What made you want to do this as a fundraiser?
It is. Well, we try to do new things all the time. We've done casino nights. We're involved with the Spectacle of Trees, which we absolutely love. We've done trivia nights. And we thought, let's do something. We're on the Cape. Let's do something nautical. My board came up with this. Thank you, board. It just sounded like it would be a fun thing to do.
I'm really surprised because it's so affordable.
It is.
Tickets are $30 a person in advance.
Right.
That is such an affordable price to get out, have fun on a boat, get out on the water in the Hyannis Harbor.
Yep, we'll have food.
And enjoy.
We'll have food. Highline has a cash bar. We're going to do a silent auction. We've got some really great gift baskets that we're going to be auctioning off, and it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the weather's going to be nice. It should. It's the end of June. It should be a nice warm evening.
Yes. That's when it finally starts to get warm here on Cape Cod. So June 24th, that's happening.
Right.
Tickets are $30 in advance or $35 at the door.
Absolutely.
Love it. Can't wait for that one.
Great.
Books and Booze Library Cruise.
Right, and it goes. It has a good cadence.
Love it. And then, of course, want to talk to you, too, a little bit about some other things that are happening here at the library. Or actually, you're working on a project with a local author, Kate Robotham Conway.
Yes.
Titcomb's Bookshop, the Marston's Mills Library, and I think, is anyone else pitching in to make this happen?
Yes. Actually, our youth services librarian, Lindsay Hughes, has been instrumental in getting all of this together. It's Titcomb's, it's Kate Conway, it's several other authors. They're going to be doing a writing workshop. We're working, the Barnstable school system has been absolutely wonderful in giving us the space to host all of these kids for these writing workshops this summer. It's going to be in August. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal.
And this is a full week-long workshop for budding authors.
Yep, and they're going to be able to get direct advice from published authors who they probably read anyway. So, I mean, they'll be getting insight and tips and instruction and a chance to network and work together, and we think it's going to be wonderful. Absolutely, yeah.
And you know, it's such a cool thing to really, you know, we've seen the Writers Conference here for adults every August. That's held, but this is a really cool opportunity just for that age group. I think so interesting to inspire them at that age.
Well, they're good readers at that age, and they're very creative writers at that age. That's the age when you start to write your poetry and you start expressing all of these emotions that are jumbling around. And yeah, it really is. It's a difficult age to get into the library. They're big readers and they're big writers, but they're at that age where, you know, they start walking a little bit behind their parents and they don't come into the library so much. But this I know they will. I know we're already filling up really quickly for this, so they'll come to this, and it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
I know you don't have an info sheet on you, but do
don't.
you know at all what the cost is to participate?
I don't have the details, but they will be posted on our brand new website.
Wonderful. So, oh, good. So, information on
Yes.
this event with the Teen Writers Conference in August will be on your website.
Absolutely will
What
be.
is your web address?
It is www.mmpl.org.
Wonderful.
It's short.
MMPL.org.
MMPL.
Great. Love it.
Yep.
And then anything else you want to fill us in on before we wrap up?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're also involved with the schools in another area. We're going to have little free lending libraries at the playgrounds of Barnstable United and West Village's schools. So this summer, when you're at the playground, you can take a book, leave a book. If you're watching the kids, you can grab a book and read it while you're there. And I think it's going to be fun. They're really cute. And,
I love the little free libraries.
too.
There's a few around town. There's one in Barnstable Village.
There is.
I think someone was talking about trying to put one up at a beach here locally.
We've been trying, yes. We've been
tough.
trying to do that as well.
But this is great, right? Have access to free books right at the library, or
At the
at the park, at the playground,
At the playground.
at local schools.
Yep, it should be fun.
So when that works, how does it work? Will you stock the little
We'll
free library?
stock it. We'll stock it, and then we just ask that people use it as a lending library. And if they have a book that they've finished and they want to pass it along, they can feel free to put it in there.
Leave one in there.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't want boxes of books that you've dug up from your basement, but and even exchange is great.
Yeah, if you have a book you want to share with others, throw it in that
Absolutely.
little free library. Well, wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us
Thank
today,
you for
Stacey.
having
so
us.
nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you too.
And we'll come back and hopefully we'll all get tickets to this Books and Booze library.
It's going to be fun.
cruise. Yeah.
Great. Thank you,
so
Sarah.
much, Stacey. Talk to you soon.
You too.
My guest today, Stacey Heavener. She is the library director here at the Marston's Mills Public Library. Joining me now live on the phone, DPW Director Dan Santos. Dan, Town Council is going to be hard at work on the operating budget this Thursday night. What kind of requests will we see in this year's proposed FY18 budget or 17? 18.
18,
Yes,
yes.
I'm like, wow. What kind of requests will we see from the Department of Public Works?
Yes, well, as typical, the budget is usually level funded, and we submit requests for funding over and above, or less than last year, if that's the case. So what we do is put in decision packages, which is the format for requesting additional funds. And this year, across our various divisions, we have a number of requests. Two of them have to do with ongoing new software programs that we put in place in the last couple of years, one being the GPS for the vehicles for the contractors during snow and ice, and then for our vehicles. And so we've requested funding of $38,000 to pay for that annual fee for the GPS system. We also have a new work order system that the Town Council approved about a year and a half ago, and that's so we can make the work order computer program consistent among the whole department. And it's a very complex program that allows us to keep track of all our assets and work that's been done on them, and it puts all this information at the fingertips of the foreman out in the field through tablets. So we're getting that implemented as we speak, and so we've requested some funds to keep that going. That's an annual. Once they approve this, it'll be in our annual budget, but the first time we need to request it as an addition.
Interesting.
Last year we brought on a safety officer, and so this year we're providing some funding for that safety officer, a training budget, and that's for materials, class materials, training, safety equipment, lab testing, things like that. A couple of years ago we improved the culvert on Stewart's Creek, and as part of that project, which was done by the Army Corps of Engineers, we're required to do some monitoring. So we requested funds to do some annual monitoring of the conditions there to make sure that work that was done is in fact doing what it was intended to do, which is improve the water quality in the creek. Every year we have vehicles budget, capital line item for all of our vehicles, which we have about 150, and so we have a very
long-term program of maintaining and operating these vehicles and upgrading them as necessary. And every year we spend about $500,000 doing that to keep our fleet, ready for when we need it, and balancing, repair costs versus when it's time to trade things in to get new equipment. So that's in there as usual. And we got some additional funds requests for some more street sweeping and landscaping on Route 132, where we have an agreement with the state to landscape from the exit 6 interchange up to Finney's Lane, and we're going to be doing some additional work there, keep that looking good. One of the entranceways into Hyannis and Barnstable. And we need to replace our fuel pump island, which over at DPW headquarters for diesel and gasoline, it's an old system and it's unable to be repaired anymore. Parts aren't available, so we need to replace that system.
Well, it sounds like a lot of really good things that are included in that budget. Is it tough as a director to really try and pick what's important to keep in and what maybe to try for next year?
Well, the way we do it is we really identify all the needs and prioritize them. That's probably the hardest part, is prioritizing them, and then making our pitch to the town manager and the finance director about what's important and why, and then they have to balance all those needs from my department with all the other departments and come up with a budget that works within the numbers that they have to work with. So that's why it takes from December. It's about a 5-month process.
Wow.
Almost 6 months. So about half of every year we're working on budgeting for the next year.
And you, of course, will be at Town Council, I'm assuming, maybe this week, reading over the budget for Town Council?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for talking about what's in that budget. We really appreciate it, Dan.
Sure.
And, of course, look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye,
Bye-bye. Yeah. Our guest today, DPW Director Dan Santos. Now it's time to find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. The Hyannis Public Library is inviting the community to share their memories of Hyannis and Hyannisport during President John F. Kennedy's administration. Did you sit at Veterans Park to watch the helicopter land? Maybe your dad worked overtime at the summer White House. You can join in to recount your memories of that time in history, or you can just stop by to listen as others talk about their experience during the days of Camelot. Attendees are encouraged to bring photos and memorabilia to show off. The event takes place Thursday, May 18th from 6 to 8 at the Hyannis Public Library. Well, you can improve your balance, stretch, and build strength with a free yoga class. Yoga Neighborhood offers free chair yoga every Wednesday at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. This is an ideal class for anyone who struggles with getting up and down from the floor. Chair yoga is held every Wednesday in the Shepley Room at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center at 10 a.m. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be back tomorrow with another great show for you. On tomorrow's show, we'll chat with Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Wendy Northcross, and so much more. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.